Hello and welcome to TelecomTV. We're reporting from Silicon Valley, Santa Clara in California in the United States, and we're at the 7th iteration of what is known as the ETSI NFV ISG, and NFV is of course Network Functions Virtualization. I'm talking with Don McCulloch, who is Director of Strategic Comms at Ericsson. Don, good to see you again. It must be 3 whole months since we last met.
Yes, good to see you again,
How are
Martin.
you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Well.
Let's talk about this event. It's interesting that, you know, this technology has come from practically nowhere in 2 years or thereabouts. Started in one room, half a dozen people, and now it's this big event, very techy event, very serious, looking at the way in which NFV is going to be ordered and then the way it's going to impact our world. So it's evident that ETSI has a major role to play in the NFV story. What do you make that to be?
Well, I think they've really accomplished a lot in the last 2 years, as you say. When I heard them talking yesterday at the plenary session about all the things they've accomplished, 2 white papers, use cases, number of proof of concepts, that's a great accomplishment in just 2 years in the telecom industry. And so when I hear their plans going forward, I think that they need to continue to work across the operators with a lot of new vendors coming in, and I think we should continue to see really good progress going forward.
So Don, as NFV is now moving beyond phase 1, beyond the theory and into proof of concepts before really widespread trialing of the technology and then later on commercial adoption globally, we hope. Can you give us some examples of the proofs of concept that Ericsson has been involved in?
I think the proof of concept thing is a really great initiative that the NFV is working on. They defined use cases and then they got proof of concepts, they said yesterday, for 100% of those use cases. We're working on 2 of them right now. We've got the network automation orchestration function, and we've also got the service acceleration for network functions. The first one, the automated network functions one, we're doing with a major European telecom, showing that you can unbundle hardware and software and automate and ease that management function. Second one, service assurance, is something we're doing with a major North American telephone company, and we're very excited about that. We've got some other proofs of concept outside of the NFV formal framework, and we think those are going to be going forward too. So a lot of functions going on there.
It's emphasized all the time that to be really successful in a global context, NFV will very much have to be open. Now, you're an Ericsson executive. Ericsson has its own furrow to plow, its own interests and all the rest of it, and so of course do all the other manufacturers, vendors and so on. And the history of telecommunications and IT is just full of one where basically, with the best intentions of the world of being open, what actually happens is people get tied into de facto proprietary standards. Is that going to happen again this time, given the way that ETSI is managing this, and given the fact that many of the manufacturers and vendors seem to be coming around to the acceptance of the fact that the old world is gone? Are we going to see genuine openness now, do you think?
I think we are. I mean, you and I met now twice at Open Networking Summit.
We did.
Here we are at ETSI, which is again open, and they're defining the Open NFV project going forward. We'll hear more about that in the fall. But I think the network industry is really coming around to the idea that you get leverage, you get faster time to market with these open source projects. So whether it be here at the NFV or at Open Daylight or at OpenStack, all of these are new, but they're really gaining a lot of momentum in the last couple of years. And I think that'll allow the community to collaborate, to open up, and to prevent the vendor lock-in, which was, after all, one of the very earliest goals in the NFV white paper. And so I think everybody's working towards that.
Now, we know a lot about the potential benefits of NFV, but what about barriers to its adoption? There must be some. What are they, and how do you surmount them?
Well, they've worked a lot on the network functions. The next thing that's got to happen is BSS, OSS, business support systems, operational support systems, and I brought up orchestration earlier, orchestrating across all these legacy systems. So I think the next big thing to work on and to surmount, as you say, is this BSS, OSS orchestration area. One of our proof of concepts is in that exact area. We bring in our Telcordia acquisition to automate that. And I think that's one way that we really could see the progress on the network side be equaled by the management side. So I would expect to see more activity in that area and addressing it, as you say, as a barrier that could slow things down if it's not addressed well.
So given that, what place do you think ETSI has now going forward as NFV matures and goes into its second and third phases?
Well, of course, that's one of the big outputs from this meeting is what will phase 2 look like, and we'll hear from the organization on that. I think that they have an absolute positive influence going forward. We're going to look for governance of this whole process and the standardization. As you say, it needs to be kept open. And so I really look forward to ETSI continuing to work in the telecom industry to make sure network function virtualization and software-defined networking all come together to open the network to new services and really expand the ability of our industry to serve end customers with high-performance networks.
Don McCulloch, as usual, thank you very much.